Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8 p.m. on LA56.
A residential neighborhood on alert after a venomous cobra bites a dog. The dangerous snake is still on the loose.
Charged with savagely beating his girlfriend, MMA fighter War Machine and now faces new charges that could mean life in prison.
Prosecutors say this undercover video shows an illegal narcotics buy from the office of a doctor who is already awaiting trial for prescribing drugs without a legitimate medical need. Good evening, I'm Colleen Sullivan.
And I'm David Ono. Welcome to Eyewitness News in LA56. And a potentially deadly snake on the loose in Thousand Oaks. It's been identified as an albino cobra, a highly venomous snake native to Southeast Asia. Eyewitness News reporter Alex Michelson is live in Thousand Oaks on the 1300 block of Rancho Lane, where neighbors are very concerned the snake still hasn't been found. Alex.
David, animal control officers believe that this snake was somebody's pet that got loose, but nobody around here is fessing up to that. Tonight, animal control officers are handing out flyers to neighbors around here and warning them that the snake is most likely to attack either in the early morning hours or the evening hours. This is the highly venomous white monocled cobra that animal control officers are searching for in Thousand Oaks.
They're just as dangerous around here as if you encountered a rattlesnake.
The snake allegedly bit this dog on the neck Monday night.
It was a terrifying experience for them. A big, long, white snake.
Norma Stoll says her daughter's dog Tico was treated by a local veterinarian and is expected to be okay. She says her daughter managed to snap this photo moments after the attack, and that's the last time anyone's seen the snake. Tonight, animal control officers are handing out flyers. They're warning residents to beware and keep their pets indoors.
Who has an albino cobra in the middle of Thousand Oaks?
Officials even brought in a professional snake wrangler named Jules Sylvester.
You don't want to surprise it.
Jules has helped train snakes for movies before.
Marion, take the wheel.
Including the latest Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park. He says he even provided some of the snakes on a plane for Snakes on a Plane. Sylvester says this search is challenging.
He's a snake. He's good at hiding. The good thing about it, he's pure white. So he'll glow in the dark almost.
Although this search is serious business, some are having fun with it. The snake now has its own Twitter handle. @AlbinoMonaCobra tweeted out, quote, "I could really use a snack. Does this Whole Foods carry organically raised, antibiotic-free rodents in the meat department? Anybody?" There are a lot more tweets like that. There are actually now multiple accounts that have sprung out. But the animal control officers insist that this really isn't a laughing matter, that snake, if it bites somebody, if the person does not get anti-venom quickly, they could potentially die. That's why they're urging any resident who sees this snake to immediately call 911. Reporting live from Thousand Oaks, Alex Michelson, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Scary situation, Alex. Thank you. A town hall meeting is underway in Sierra Madre where people are upset a registered sex offender is now living very close to a Catholic school. A. West, formerly known as Andrew West Reed Jr., served 8 years in federal prison for molesting and taking lewd photos of a 6-year-old girl who attended St. Rita Catholic School. The victim was a friend of his daughter, who was also 6 at the time. Even though the 60-year-old's home is about 500 feet from the school, police say he isn't breaking any rules.
I heard that the guy got out in January, and I'm just now finding out about it, and I'm not happy about it. This is a family town. We don't need people like that living in this town, in my opinion.
Before going to prison, A. West was a children's television art director.
The mixed martial arts fighter known as War Machine is facing new felony charges tonight in connection with a severe beating of his ex-girlfriend and his alleged efforts to hide out here in California. War Machine, who was born Jonathan Koppenhaber, was arrested last month after his ex-girlfriend, adult film star Christy Mack, posted photos of herself online showing bruises and cuts to her face and legs. A week later, police tracked down War Machine at a home in Simi Valley. He was charged today with new counts of kidnapping and assault. Prosecutors also said today that he beat Mack multiple times over a span of more than a year. And if convicted on all charges, War Machine could face up to life in prison.
Tonight, a search is underway for a hit-and-run driver who struck and killed a 67-year-old woman in front of Lakewood Regional Medical Center. She's been identified as Teresa Hernandez, a mother of 5 and grandmother of 6. It happened last night while Hernandez and one of her daughters visited a relative at the hospital. The two are seen here at a subway across the street from the hospital. When they headed back across the street, across South Street, authorities say a driver in a black Honda or Nissan hit Hernandez and kept going.
They really should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. It's sad because it could have been any one of our friends here in the neighborhood.
This is a very dangerous street.
Those who live and work in the area say South Street is a busy road and that many people often cross the street in front of the hospital where there are no crosswalk. Meanwhile, anyone with information on the hit and run is asked to call the Lakewood Sheriff Station at 562-623-3500.
Tonight, outrage and sorrow as a vigil is getting underway to remember a cyclist run down and killed in Calabasas by an LA County Sheriff's deputy. This is a live look from Air 7 HD over the vigil at the Criminal Courts Building in downtown Los Angeles. Dozens of cyclists are in attendance. They traveled here from Calabasas for tonight's event. Prosecutors last week announced that they will not file charges against the deputy who was typing on a computer, driving a squad car, and veered into the bike lane, killing Milton Everett Olin Jr. And we'll bring you a live report from the vigil ahead in Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56.
An Encino doctor in trouble again. Prosecutors say a physician has been arrested for a second time for allegedly selling a controlled substance, this while he awaits trial in a similar case. As Eyewitness News reporter Miriam Hernandez tells us, investigators say these types of cases are becoming all too common.
We are getting ready to conduct a undercover investigation.
Come along with a hidden camera. A confidential informant is taking it to an urgent care facility in Encino, to a doctor he says has been selling him pills for recreational use for years. What is especially alarming to the medical board, which is conducting this operation, the doctor, Yahya Hedbat, was arrested just 8 months earlier on charges of illegally selling prescription meds. He was under court order to halt prescribing altogether, pending his criminal trial on 10 felony counts. Now, here he is, meeting with the confidential informant, who shows him money. There is murmuring in Farsi. He waves away the cash, but minutes later, there is a transaction in the parking lot with Hormuz Nikravian, who describes himself as a friend of Dr. Hedbat.
Okay, let's see.
The money is exchanged for drugs, says Deputy DA John Niederman. 12 pills for $120.
And did you subsequently hook those into evidence and preserve them as well?
Yes. Norco, also known as hydrocodone, is a highly desired drug of abuse according to the FDA, and Ativan, an anti-anxiety med, also addictive. The FDA says prescription drugs account for about 3/4 of all drug overdose deaths in the U.S. The Hedbat case is one of a growing number. The prosecutor says that 4 years ago, there was only a single doctor in LA County under investigation. Today, he says, the DA's office gets calls every day. They come from the coroner, who identifies suspicious drug deaths, and from parents who say their children are obtaining excessive prescription drugs. In some cases, the warning comes too late. Dr. Lisa Singh of Rowland Heights settled 12 cases of wrongful death. Now she awaits trial in criminal court for 6 victims. As for Dr. Hedbat, his defense questions the validity of the undercover video and whether the doctor actually had a role in the transaction. The judge, however, determined there was sufficient evidence in today's preliminary hearing to hold him over for trial.
Miriam Hernandez, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Comedian Joan Rivers has been moved out of intensive care and into a private hospital room where her family says she's being kept comfortable. In the latest statement, her daughter, Melissa Rivers, thanked the public for its continued support. Mount Sinai Hospital in Manhattan is not releasing any further details of Rivers' condition. Yesterday, the family confirmed she was still on life support after going into cardiac arrest nearly a week ago.
An American missionary worker sickened by the Ebola virus is speaking up for the first time since her release from the hospital. Nancy Reipel says she believes an experimental drug, her medical care, and her faith saved her. She contracted the disease while working at a clinic in Liberia. Reipel, who was treated at Emory University Hospital in Atlanta, thanked everyone, especially her husband David. He was the one who told her she had tested positive for the virus.
David came towards me to give me a hug and to put his arms around me. And I knew how dangerous that was. And so I said, no. Just no. And I said, David, it's going to be okay.
The first American infected, Dr. Kent Brantley, was released from the same Atlanta hospital last month. A third American sickened with Ebola is a Boston area doctor who returned to Liberia a month ago to deliver babies and was not caring for Ebola patients.
The family of the journalist killed by ISIS militants is speaking out today. A family spokesman says Stephen Sotloff was drawn to the stories of the turbulent Middle East. The reaction comes as President Obama vows to build a coalition to degrade and destroy ISIS. And the effort to track the ISIS executioner is being ramped up. Here's ABC's Brian Ross.
The urgent search for the remaining 2 U.S. and other Western hostages is being carried out by spy planes and satellites over the ISIS stronghold of the Syrian city of Raqqa. This is where U.S. officials believe ISIS staged its barbaric murders of journalists Stephen Sotloff and James Foley. Today, the president vowed ISIS will pay the price.
We will not be intimidated. Their horrific acts only unite us as a country and stiffen our resolve to take the fight against these terrorists.
The ISIS commander, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, and his key deputies are prime targets for the U.S. And so is the hooded British speaker seen in the hostage videos.
I'm Barack Obama.
And others from ISIS not seen, but clearly part of the execution and video team.
Those who make the mistake of harming Americans will learn that we will not forget and that our reach is long and that justice will be served.
In the search for clues, some of the recent gruesome ISIS videos offer unintended leads. Here, the camera pans and briefly catches a glimpse of one of the ISIS camera operators, and then another ISIS fighter driving the truck, part of the all-important propaganda team that records and distributes the brutal videos.
The act of communication that follows the act of violence is almost as important, if not more important, than the act of violence itself.
Today, the family of Stephen Sotloff said they were privately grieving for their 31-year-old journalist son. A friend, speaking for the family, said Sotloff died as he lived, courageously.
We will not allow our enemies to hold us hostage with the sole weapons they possess, fear.
And now the goal is to find some way to save the remaining American and Western hostages still in the hands of ISIS. Veteran Special Forces operators say while it would be difficult to carry out a second mission after that failed effort over July 4th, it would not be impossible. Brian Ross, ABC News, New York.
Russia and Ukraine are working on a possible ceasefire deal that would bring an end to months of fighting in eastern Ukraine. Representatives of both nations say they could finalize a peace deal as early as Friday. Russian President Vladimir Putin has proposed a 7-point plan for ending hostilities, and Ukraine's President Petro Poroshenko says he's optimistic the two sides could come to terms. President Obama says it's too early to see if the proposed ceasefire could hold.
Up next here at 8, sentencing day for a Michigan man who shot an unarmed woman through the door of his front porch, what he had to say to the victim's family in court. Plus this.
Okay. A body surfer in the right place at the right time. How he may have saved this snorkeler's life.
I don't buy tickets unless I feel lucky, and when that happened, I had to get it.
Luck was on the side of a local father of 5 who hit the lottery big time. Find out how he and his wife are already spending their mega millions.
Live Mega Doppler 7000 HD is calm right now, but we have rain in the forecast, folks. Details coming up in your 7 days. Stick around.
A Michigan man will spend at least 17 years in prison for killing an unarmed woman who showed up on his porch in the middle of the night. Last month, a jury convicted Theodore Wade for a second-degree murder in the death of 19-year-old Renisha McBride. McBride had crashed her car about a half-mile away. Prosecutors believe she may have been looking for help. Wafer shot her through the screen door, saying someone had been pounding on his door and that he feared for his life.
I apologize from the bottom of my heart. And I am truly sorry for your loss. I can only hope and pray that somehow you can forgive me.
Wafer told the victim's family that he will carry the guilt forever.
A dramatic rescue caught on camera in the waters off of Hawaii.
Okay. You got him on your board. Let's get you in there. Let's get him in.
Darren Jenner was body surfing with a GoPro strapped to a hand paddle when he heard a cry for help. A 52-year-old California man had been snorkeling far from shore when he became exhausted and started to panic. Jenner swam over, calmed the man down, and started bringing him back to shore, all while the camera was recording. Luckily, a surfer came by and they put the man on a surfboard and got him to the beach. He was checked out by paramedics, and other than being very tired, he was fine.
I'm definitely not a hero. The full-time lifeguards, the rescue swimmers for the Coast Guard, those are heroes, all right? I'm just a body surfer.
Jenner is being a little overly modest. He's a retired paramedic and a volunteer lifeguard. He was even featured on Good Morning America 10 years ago after helping to save a man who had suffered a heart attack.
Wow. Talk about a lucky chance meeting there for that snorkeler. My goodness.
Yeah,
well,
that is a hero.
Let's talk about our forecast. A little cooler today.
Cooler, and you know what? Rain chances in the forecast.
That's
Can you
awesome.
believe it?
Barely.
Because it's been a very busy Pacific hurricane season, and it's affected our weather tremendously. This time around, no exception with Norbert in the picture. We'll take a look in a moment. Live Megadopoulos 7000 HD. Hey, we're dry tonight. It is a beautiful evening ahead, although, yes, we have the marine layer back in place tomorrow. You know, we had it this morning. In fact, if you look at the visible satellite imagery, this is like a picture from space. We lose it after the sun goes down, you lose the light. So I've got this going to about 6 or so tonight. And you can see the little spin right here at the beginning of it, just a little bit right there. That's that Catalina eddy. Some of the clouds that held on right around Santa Barbara this morning, a little longer than you probably would have liked. But overall, a beautiful day. It was nice. Temperatures, like Colleen said, on the cool side, below average today. It's 69 right now at the airport, and temperatures around the area are a couple degrees cooler than this time last night. So we're looking at 79 in Santa Clarita, 74 Van Nuys, 72. Good evening to you in Temecula. Santa Ana, good evening, 74 right now. So what we have is high pressure that has moved away. It's budged off to the east. Check this out. Into portions of the panhandle of Texas, and in its wake, so to speak, to the west, a trough of low pressure has dug in, and that gives us that onshore flow, thus the marine layer, thus the cooler weather. So the next couple of days, that's the pattern, all right? Now, here's where things start changing as we head into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. This is Hurricane Norbert. This is brand new hurricane as of today. Winds of 75, moving to the west-northwest at 8. As it tracks up to the north, I will show you what will happen. It's going to bring a lot of moisture to the area, it looks like, right now, and especially heading into late Sunday into Monday, we could have potentially some heavy rain. This is the future scan. It shows you where the energy is in the atmosphere. And you go through Thursday, you see that trough off to the west still there. Same on Friday. So below average. And we'll start to actually warm up late Friday, I'd say into Saturday. Temperatures are back to normal on Saturday. But here's Norbert. As we go in through Saturday into Sunday, the moisture from Norbert is going to stream on in, and that's going to spell rain chances Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday even, actually. But Monday's the best chance potentially in the mountains, some flooding, and much cooler weather also, and cloud cover, of course. So overnight, though, mild evening, morning clouds, temperatures in the 60s, and the beaches and the valleys and highs tomorrow looking good. A little bit cooler than it was today. In fact, 78 in LA, 77 in Thousand Oaks. Check it out in the 7-day forecast. We'll warm up after that on Friday, but we'll really warm up on Saturday, back to average. This is the rain chance right there, Sunday, Monday, and even a little bit into Tuesday in some spots, but Monday is the day to watch out for. A 30% chance of rain because of that moisture getting pulled in from what will be left of Norbert at that time. Valleys, i.e. mid-80s to upper 80s next 2 days. Back in the 90s by Saturday. Few showers Sunday and Monday. And then the mountain areas, some storms and even flooding possible on Monday. 50% chance of temps in the 70s, and the high desert on the action as well. A 20% risk of some showers Sunday and Monday. So we'll keep an eye on the rain chances in Norbert. Next few days look good, though, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
A Calamasa family is celebrating its new multi-millionaire status. The Knutsons just won the $180 million Mega Millions jackpot. As Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rod McMillan tells us, there were signs good luck was coming their way.
We're really going to enjoy it, I can tell you, you know.
Rick and Lori Knutson say their bucket list just got a lot bigger after winning the $180 million Mega Millions jackpot.
We've lived in the same house for like 23 years, so we're going to step it up.
They bought the winning ticket a couple of weeks ago at the 7-Eleven in Calamasa, not far from their home. They discovered they had won the following weekend.
Saw the numbers, I scanned it, my eyes like 3 times, I go, I got this.
And we just started hugging and screaming, and the kids are all hugging, the grandkids start crying.
So what made Knutson want to buy a lottery ticket? Well, he says something very strange started happening to him. He says over a 2-day period, whenever he would get the bill for something, whether it's dinner for his wife or a bunch of stuff at the convenience store, it would always come out to nice round numbers. No change required.
7 different times, everything came back with no change. So I just felt lucky.
They decided to take the lump sum of $107 million. Will Knutson keep his job at RWC Roofing?
No, I retired the next day.
So what to do with all this money? They say they're going to give a lot of it to their church and, of course, their family.
My dad lives with us. He's 83 years old, so we want to make sure that he doesn't have to worry about a thing.
I have a son that's a heart patient, so we're good.
As for whether winning more than $100 million will change them as people,
I hope not. You know, pretty grounded.
We want to stay pretty
There's nothing
grounded.
wrong with being grounded in a big house, though.
Yeah.
In San Bernardino, Rod McMillan, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Can you imagine how they feel right now?
Oh, fabulous. On cloud 9.
Probably the weight of the world off of them. That's great. A stolen classic car is now back at home, safe and sound.
Someone drove off in a T-Bird away 3 decades ago. What the owner is saying about its condition now.
And a deadly school bus accident raising new questions about the safety of thousands of buses coast to coast. The British parents arrested after taking their 5-year-old son out of the country for medical treatment have been reunited with him, but it's not entirely clear what will happen next. As we've been reporting, Asha King's parents took him from a hospital in England and then went to Spain seeking alternative treatment for his brain tumor. British authorities said they took him without doctor's permission, issued a warrant, and the couple was arrested and jailed in Spain. Prosecutors were widely criticized, and yesterday they dropped the charge of child cruelty, and the couple left jail and was able to visit the boy in a Spanish hospital.
When you're locked up, you can't do anything. And I always wanted to help my wife, my children, and everything. But being locked up, you can't do anything. You can't help your son, you can't help your wife, you can't help, and you don't know the future.
Well, that future is still somewhat unclear. The parents did visit Asha in the hospital, but Spanish authorities have been told by British officials not to let the parents take him from the hospital.
A car lover in Sacramento is celebrating an overdue reunion. More than 30 years after his classic car was stolen, Gary Chartrand has it back. In 1981, the car was stolen while he was bartending in the state capitol. Police called Gary when they found his missing 1964 Ford T-Bird about 750 miles away in Washington state.
Beautiful.
Just the way you left it?
A little, bumps and bruises, but boy, it's not much change. Yeah, considering it's a 50-year-old car and it's been gone for 33 years, you have no idea where it's been.
Gary says whomever stole the T-Bird didn't put too many miles on it, and he says remarkably it's in great condition.
Wow, I could fix that thing up. Be awesome.
No kidding.
And it has a great story attached to it now. We're updating the evening's top stories next at 8:30.
Including the hunt for a venomous cobra snake in a local neighborhood. We're hearing from anxious neighbors.
And the all-out search for a robber who stabbed a 7-Eleven clerk. The crime is all caught on camera, and the latest on this investigation. So far better, right?
Yeah, I like that one better. All right.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 8:30, a highly venomous cobra is on the loose in Thousand Oaks. I'm David Ono.
And I'm Colleen Sullivan. This is Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. LA County animal control officers are hunting for the dangerous snake. It has been identified as an albino monocle cobra, which is native to Southeast Asia. The snake was last seen in the 1300 block of Rancho Lane on Monday when it bit a dog. After a trip to the animal hospital, the dog appears to be doing fine. A snake expert says this species isn't aggressive but will bite if cornered. Anyone who sees it should call 911.
Our other top story, mourners gather for a vigil in Orlando, Florida tonight honoring journalist Steven Sotloff. A video released yesterday showed the beheading of Sotloff, who was kidnapped by the terrorist group ISIS in Syria last year. Earlier today, a family spokesman told reporters that Sotloff dedicated his life to portraying the suffering of people in war zones and sacrificed it to tell their stories.
Today we grieve. This week we mourn. But we will emerge from this ordeal. Our village is strong. We will not allow our enemies to hold us hostage with the sole weapons they possess: fear.
Sotloff, who was 31, freelanced for Time and Foreign Policy magazines before he was captured. ISIS says he was killed in retribution for U.S. airstrikes in Iraq. And here at home, 2 men wanted in the stabbing of a 7-Eleven clerk in Rancho Cucamonga are still on the loose. Eyewitness News reporter Leticia Wada shows us some surveillance video that could lead sheriff's investigators to the attackers.
This just-released surveillance video shows a 7-Eleven clerk stepping out on a break to call his family in Turkey and grab a cigarette. Suddenly, these 2 men show up, one on a bicycle, the other on foot. Surveillance video then captures what happened next. One of the suspects lunges at the victim, stabbing him twice in the stomach.
They did not go in the store. They did not look like they had any intentions on robbing the store. So we're just kind of taking out an assault until we get further information.
Investigators say it appears the victim, 45-year-old Tencel Kuku Kasehan, did not know the suspects. But customers say he seems to know everyone.
He had regulars all the time. They know him from his first name. They talk to him. They sit in the store, chat with him. I mean, I can't even imagine anyone doing that to him.
The stabbing happened early Sunday morning in the 9400 block of Baseline Road. And while investigators say they are following several leads, they are hoping this surveillance video will lead them to the suspects.
I can't imagine somebody would want to stab him or hurt him any kind of way.
The victim dropped his cell phone and ran. The attacker picked up the phone and took it.
It's probably not the first phone they've ever stolen, and as well as it probably means that, they turn it off for a while, get the heat off of it, and then at some point maybe they'll sell it.
Police are asking the public to take a close look at the suspects to notice the black plaid hoodie one is wearing and the bright green backpack the other is carrying.
Well, they'll be caught because a lot of people, they're watching out.
Anyone with information is asked to contact the We Tip hotline. The number there is 1-800-78-CRIME or 1-800-782-7473. In Rancho Cucamonga, Leticia Juarez, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A convicted sex offender has been charged with impersonating a police officer and raping a woman in Torrance. 43-year-old Guy Dietz of Calabasas was arraigned today after allegedly trying to outrun police in Monterey County Friday afternoon. Prosecutors say last Thursday Dietz had a woman come to a Torrance home where he showed a badge and handcuffs, claimed to be an undercover police officer, and raped her. She eventually escaped and called police. Dietz has a 1998 rape conviction and 2 drug-related convictions in 2005 and 2010. He was out on bail for allegedly failing to register as a sex offender when the rape occurred. A new development in a story we brought you about an attempted kidnapping in Azusa. Police now say they are confident no such incident occurred. An 11-year-old boy said a man grabbed him on his way home from Northside Park Monday night. Azusa police say after looking into all aspects of the investigation, they do not believe the incident happened as reported. Again, they are not looking for possible kidnapping suspect near Northside Park at this time. A wave of vandalism in the Antelope Valley. Cars spray-painted, windows shot out, and in some cases with people in the cars. The attacks have been going on for weeks, and now police think they have arrested some of the people responsible. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Stallworth talked to one of the victims.
You saw your window shattered. What was your first thought?
I was very upset. I was very angry.
I was very angry because it was a Christmas present that my husband gave me this past Christmas. I'm a mom, so I drive a mom car.
Sylvia Sharma says as soon as she sat down for dinner just after 8 with her family last week, a neighbor knocked on her door telling her that the rear window on her minivan had been shattered.
I guess the way that the window shattered, the police officer seemed to think that it was a BB gun, and he said they had got calls that day from Lake Elizabeth that they have done the same to cars over there. So,
in a span of a few weeks, detectives say they not only got calls about car windows shattered in neighborhoods, but also vehicles spray painted with graffiti. They say bandits used BB guns to destroy at least a dozen car windows. They say people were actually in some of the cars that were targeted. Was anybody injured?
We don't know of any serious injury. Some people did get some flying glass hit them, but if anything, it was minor cuts.
Detectives say thanks to a tip from the public, they arrested 6 suspects yesterday. They are on the hunt for a 7th person. 2 of the suspects in custody are 18 and 4 are juveniles. The suspects were booked on assault with a deadly weapons charge because detectives say they shot at cars with people inside. Motive.
Other than just looking for kicks and thinking it was a fun thing to do, we haven't discovered any real motive. Turns out most of these youngsters have clean records. They're not gang members. They're not really been in a lot of trouble.
In Palmdale, Leo Starr with ABC7 Eyewitness News.
LAUSD Superintendent John Dacey continues to come under fire over the district's plan to distribute iPads to students. Today, the teachers union called for Dacey to report to what's known as teacher jail as the investigation continues. There are allegations that he was too cozy with the companies that won the iPad contract from the school board. Earlier this week, he canceled the program. The teachers union questions whether the bidding was fair, but Dacey has dismissed the accusations as a political attack.
Using $1 billion in public bond money, which is questionable even whether it should have been used for iPads when we've got schools that need dramatic repair. If he thinks that using that $1 billion and having a procurement process that is quite questionable, if he thinks that's just political, that's a problem in and of itself.
We tried to speak with the superintendent today, but we're told he was working and would not be available for an interview.
With millions of children back to school in America, a deadly school bus accident is making headlines tonight. It happened in Wisconsin with more than a dozen students hurt in the devastating collision. Tonight, the dramatic video and the school bus crash test. How safe are they? Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
On this country road in Wisconsin, a school bus full of high school kids in a collision with a car, killing 1 person and injuring 13 students.
A lot of kids were very upset.
New concerns tonight from parents and critics questioning just how safe are our kids in school buses. In most states, seatbelts aren't required. Safety experts say buses are inherently safer for kids.
They are 50 times more likely to get to school safely than if they were driving themselves or riding with friends.
The National Transportation Safety Board looked at 2 fatal side impact collisions in 2012 and found seatbelts add a measure of safety. This chilling animation shows a child wearing a seatbelt and one not wearing a seatbelt. So why aren't seatbelts in every school bus? Could it be the cost? As much as $7,000 per bus, saving 2 lives a year.
Is this what this really comes down to? It's too expensive?
Yes, there would be an added cost, but if all school districts bought school buses with belts, those costs would go down over time.
The National Highway Transportation Safety Administration says seatbelts can hinder evacuations during electrical bus fires like this one. But in the event of a rollover or side impact, seatbelts could prevent this.
School buses are designed to be safer than cars. The seats are closely spaced together, the seat backs are high and padded, but there are still a number of parents who would like to see seatbelts installed. Lindsay Davis, ABC News, New York.
Will Tesla build its battery plant here in the Golden State? The car maker's decision up next.
Plus, a new flyway bus service hits the road today in Hollywood. Is the price right to LAX?
Jonathan Novak here. We had some low clouds today to start. No rain with those clouds, but rain is in the forecast. Yes, details in 7 days. Stick around.
Hollywood now has its own direct nonstop bus service to LAX. A new flyaway bus location opened today at Hollywood and Argyle. The service will run between Hollywood and LAX between 5:15 a.m. and 10:15 p.m. daily, including weekends and holidays, running 15 minutes after the hour. It'll cost $8 one way, and children could ride for free. There are 4 other flyaway routes in operation: Santa Monica, Union Station, Van Nuys, and Westwood.
California will not be home to carmaker Tesla's $5 billion battery factory. The source tells the AP that the company has chosen to build its facility in Nevada instead. Many California officials wanted to desperately win Tesla over, but an initiative bill aimed at encouraging the company to build here failed in the state legislature. According to the AP source, the plant will be built just outside of Reno. Official word is expected to come from Nevada's governor tomorrow.
One of LA's most colorful communities is getting ready to put on a festive celebration. This Sunday, it is the 68th annual East LA Mexican Independence Day Parade. It's the nation's largest and oldest Hispanic parade. There will be music and dancers and colorful equestrian units. The parade runs along Cesar Chavez Avenue from Mednick to Gage. The Parade Festival is right on Mednick, next to Belvedere Park, where there will be lots of food and fun things to do. And our live coverage begins this Sunday at 10:30 a.m. right here on ABC7.
Rain in the 7-day forecast. Meteorologist Jonathan Novak has details coming up.
Plus, they're here and ready to do battle. Wildfires, it is, but will there be enough water for the Super Scoopers this fire season?
And the Dodgers with some late-inning drama against Washington. Highlights from the Ravine ahead in sports. All right, you said the R word, Jonathan, rain, and we want to know when is it possibly going to arrive?
Possibly looks, actually, even though it's a ways off, it looks pretty good. I don't want to jump the gun. We just put them in the forecast today because of Hurricane Norbert. You know, the Pacific hurricane season's really influenced our weather a lot this hurricane season. So really interesting. Right now we're dry. Live Mega Doppler 7000 HD. Great night. Just some clouds to look at. In fact, this was LAX earlier on as the marine layer started to push back in. Okay, so you'll wake up tomorrow with not so much sun, but just like today, the sun will come around, I'd say about 9, 10 a.m. 83 was our high today in LA, below average. Cooler than it was yesterday by a degree, and most spots were below average today. So it's going to stay that way for about another couple of days before things start warming up, and then we look at those rain chances Colleen made mention of. 71 in Burbank right now. 73 Santa Clarita, a very mild evening. We even have only 96 in Palm Springs, 79 Victorville, and a beautiful 71 over at the beach, Long Beach, Santa Monica, 69. Here's the setup, high pressure right here way off to the west, or east, I should say. And as that has moved off to the east, it's made room for what is now west of us, which is a trough of low pressure. That trough of low pressure is giving us that onshore flow. That onshore flow gives us the cooler weather, and it keeps the clouds in the morning, that marine layer really thick, and we're going to keep those clouds in there for tomorrow, and the temperatures even cooler than they were today until high pressure builds in for the weekend. But then we start looking at Hurricane Norbert. 75-mile-an-hour winds moving to the west-northwest at 8 miles an hour. Here's the track on it, and you'll see as it moves up to the west-northwest, it will weaken down to a tropical storm as we head in through Sunday. But what's important is the moisture associated with it will get pulled up into Southern California Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Rain chances look good for the entire area, and the mountains very good. Chances of flooding in the mountains as we go in through Sunday and Monday, and we'll be keeping you posted all week. Beautiful night ahead tonight. Quick look at those highs tomorrow. 80s overall, 70s in some spots like the coast and Thousand Oaks. High in Los Angeles, in fact, only 78. 70 forecast shows we're warming up on Friday, even warmer with high pressure building in on Saturday. And then there it is. Moisture, rain, Sunday, Monday, cooler, cloudier, and the valleys, i.e., even getting some rain chances in there too for you. 92 on Sunday, 86 on Monday. So we got a little bit of a cool down again here with the moisture from Norbert. Until then, beautiful. 80s, back up to 96 on Saturday. Mountains, going to watch out, though. Next few days, fantastic. Can't beat it. But Sunday and Monday, flooding is possible. A 50% risk of thunderstorms firing up with all that deep moisture moving in. And the high desert, fantastic. You get a little hot on Saturday, but cooler after that with the chance of rain on Sunday and Monday. That's it for me. Dallas has the latest on this 7-day on ABC7 at 11.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
2 Super Scooper planes have arrived in Los Angeles with help with aerial attacks against wildfires this season. Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia reports from Azusa, where a big wildfire took place earlier this year.
These planes are the first line of defense for protecting homes and property when a wildfire breaks out in Southern California. The 2 Super Scoopers from Quebec, Canada are back and ready to take off at a moment's notice.
When they get the call to get ready and get up in the air in about 5 minutes, their top speed is about 160 knots, and their capability is 1,650 gallons of water they can carry.
Quebec 1 and Quebec 2 are joined by 2 specially equipped helicopters, which can each carry up to 2,600 gallons of water. The chiefs were asked simply, is there enough water for the Super Scoopers to do their job when a brush fire hits?
We did survey our water purveyors and then also our major water sites where the Super Scoopers dip to pick up water, and they're okay right now for the drought.
LA County will pay $5.3 million to lease the equipment. The aircraft will be here through the Santa Ana wind season, which typically runs from now until December. For residents in foothill communities, especially those that have burned in the past, news of Super Scoopers are here is a relief.
I personally think, it's a little money spent in order to save potential property and a lot of loss in that sense, so sometimes you just have to sacrifice.
Money well spent.
Yeah.
They have those available. That's great. If they're not here, those things, they do a good job. There's no doubt about it.
Sid Garcia, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
On to sports now. The Halos are not really helping themselves of late. After Seattle beat Oakland twice, the Angels have dropped 2 straight in Houston. Complete highlights on Eyewitness News at 11 p.m. In the meantime, rubber match between the Dodgers and the Nationals at the Ravine. Bottom 9, Dodgers down 3-2 after Kenley Jensen blew the save. Turner looks like he's the last out of the game, but Jason Worth has trouble with his son and drops the ball. Andre Ethier motors around first, and we head to extras. 11th inning, blew down again, this time 5-3, but with 2 out, Carl Crawford smokes the 2-run shot to the seats in left center, and we're tied again. Top of 14, still tied. Adam LaRoche beats out the throw, bringing in the go-ahead run. LA falls in 14 innings. It's 8-5 the final. And before today's Dodger game, the boys in blue had a special visitor. Kurt Sandoval has a story.
Dorothy Finnerty, who turns 100 this month, is living proof you're never too old to dream.
I can't believe I'm here. I've seen it on TV. I watch every game, and I've sat in the seat, but I've never been down here.
I asked her, what do you want for your birthday? And she said, I'd like to throw out the first pitch at Dodger Stadium. And I went, how hard could that be?
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Right.
She came to Los Angeles 20 years before the Dodgers left Brooklyn.
I remember when Dodgers Stadium was first, they scooped it out and built the stadium.
Yeah.
I came to California in 1941.
Today she met Matt Kemp as she warmed up for her chance of a lifetime of throwing the ceremonial first pitch.
Once a week we practiced.
That's awesome.
I hope I can do it today.
Although it was a sparse matinee crowd on hand, Dorothy did not disappoint. A strike echoing through the ravine.
It was really fabulous. I've looked at it many times from the stands and also at home on my TV. And to actually be there, it's unbelievable.
On this birthday, Dorothy has her cake and she'll eat it too. Kurt Sandoval, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Way to go. And more news straight ahead here at 8:30 and ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on KBC. A road rage incident caught on camera. One man is left hanging on to a truck for dear life. Plus, why this woman's mugshot may be used as evidence against her. These stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on KABC. Owners of a 1950s-style diner in Eagle Rock are hoping for some help as they try to restore a piece of local history. The sign for their retro restaurant is in desperate need of repair. As Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes tells us, the cost is so high they're asking the community to pitch in to save it.
Cindy's Restaurant in Eagle Rock is a throwback diner with a hipster menu. Paul Rosenblum and his wife spent months restoring Cindy's to its 1950-ish origins. They now serve breakfast and lunch to longtime patrons like Joe Biametti, who's been eating here for
20 years at least.
And even though the restaurant's open, the open sign isn't. It is dead. In fact, the only thing open on this sign are the rusting, gaping holes in the metal.
It's just such an iconic part of Eagle Rock. It's been here for so long. It's such a beautiful piece of architecture that, we'd be foolish not to try to save it.
Rosenblum, as you could probably tell, loves the old futuristic Googie-style sign out front. But the cost to restore the vintage space-agey artifact was hard for the restaurateur to swallow.
It needed all new electrical work. It was original lead paint, so it needs to be stripped down by a professional painting company. All the plastic lettering is all hand cut, so it all needs to be redone professionally. The price tag just kept going up and up and up and up.
And up and up and up some more. So much so that he's turning to the independent fundraising site Kickstarter, hoping other architecture fans and Eagle Rock supporters will help save Cindy's sign. The goal? About $16,000, and right now the campaign is almost halfway there.
The sign kind of brings back that old feeling I think that people really feel comfortable with.
Save it. It's like the old type of coffee shop and thing like that. It don't exist anymore. Save the sign.
But Rosenblum is worried that time is running out. If the goal isn't met, no funds are collected, and Cindy's sign continues its decline.
It's part of preserving history.
Those donations, the difference between Back to the Future or back to the starting block.
We'd rather have it be a beautiful sign than a pigeon house.
In Eagle Rock, Rob Hayes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Love those old retro signs, though.
No kidding.
Hope it works out for them. Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Law and Order SVU is next on LA56.
And Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. And remember, you can get your news 24 hours a day by following us on Facebook and Twitter and by downloading our ABC7 app. See you tomorrow night right here on LA56. Have a great evening.